I got a lot to say about this. The TLDR, if you're deciding to listen, is that bio-nanotech is incredibly advanced and that injectable bio-nanotech has made humans emit Bluetooth. So let's start by learning how an mRNA vaccine works. This capsule is called a lipid nanoparticle, and they have keys on the outside and mRNA on the inside. Every part of this lipid nanoparticle is produced by the vaccine manufacturers, from the mRNA itself to helper lipids to the little pieces inside that encapsulate and release the mRNA once it gets into a cell, to the PEG lipids, which help this thing move throughout the body, to cholesterol. Like, they are producing all of this. It is highly advanced. Here is a list of the active ingredients inside of the vaccine. The ingredients themselves aren't even that important. It's the fact that they're structured as part of your body, so they act like part of your body, that is important. Okay, moving on. Real-time self-assembly of incubated specimens of mRNA products from on the order of 3 to 4 by 10 to the 6th, so that's 3 to 4 million per millimeter of the injectable visual artificial self-assembling entities ranging from about 1 to 100 micrometers or greater of many different shapes. They were animated worm-like entities, discs, chains, spirals, tubes, right-angle structures containing other artificial entities within them. What does that mean, 3 to 4 million per millimeter? Well, vaccines are usually measured by the cc, or cubic centimeter, so 1 millimeter would be 1/10 of the cc. So we're talking 30 to 40 million self-assembling nanobots that are in these vaccines. I don't think that I've made it clear that a lipid nanoparticle is a nanobot. It is a package of fat, essentially, where the polar ends all face outward to shield whatever's inside from anything else. And they can attach like spikes to these that act as keys that allow it to enter into cells. I am being very literal, and to demonstrate that, you're going to learn about DNA origami, and I would sincerely recommend watching this whole entire video. Just search TEDMed Israel 2013. These shapes are DNA folding itself up according to some programmer's will. That's what they wanted to make. That's what they actually fucking made out of DNA. But that's not all.
And now we have an astonishing array of shapes and objects that we can build using this technique. And these researchers also gave us computer-aided design tools that enable everyone, very, very simply, to design objects from DNA.
You can CAD out of DNA. Back in 2013, somebody could design a shape of a tool if they wanted, and then have DNA origami itself into the shape of that tool. And we understand how a lot of things work in the human body. We could have the DNA make things that already do things in the human body. But we're not. Shady shit is going on. Let's check out the microscopy analysis of this vaccine.
To really understand is that the lipid nanoparticle technology, which you can see right here, these blinking lights, those are the nano and micro robots we've been talking about all along, okay? So what you can see here is,
see how they blink in and out?
The drop
She's moving it around a lot.
Pfizer vial put on the slide, and then what you can also see how assembled. And these bubbles here are not air bubbles, but they are construction zones of nanotechnology, and they literally they expel their innards to create these filamental structures that are like optical communication cables.
Look at that
here,
shit.
And you can see a much larger magnification. You can see the sophistication of the microchips that are developed.
Notice that all these things back here are just blinking in and out.
These Pfizer vials by these little tiny robots, and you can see here little piece.
But how could these things get the energy, get the power to be able to self-construct themselves? Well, let's look into energy harvesting wireless body area networks. If you'd like to read it, the name is Energy Harvesting Based WBANs, EH optimization methods, wireless body area network, energy harvesting, written in 2019. The purpose of this paper is to present a state-of-the-art of the important studies that have been carried out to optimize the exploitation of energy harvested in energy harvested-based WBANs, wireless body area networks, at the MAC, physical, and routing layers. I don't really understand what the physical and the routing layers are, but we're going to come back to the MAC layer. So let's look at a few of the energy harvesting methods, and remember that this is presenting the state-of-the-art of the important studies that have been carried out. So it could use vibration energy, like energy produced in the body due to physical movements or by physiological processes such as breathing. Or in case if you're not breathing, then it could capture energy from radio frequencies, like base stations, wireless networks, or television towers. Yeah, we never have any access to those things. And even if you hold your breath and go a mile underwater to get away from the radio frequency energy, they can still harvest energy from thermal. Human body warmth can also be a source of energy. Now, this is where most rational people who know a lot about this tech are going to say, but that's for wearables. That's for things like an Oura Ring or a Fitbit or a pacemaker, shit like that. No, remember, we just looked at a microscopy analysis of this vaccine, and we were watching shit like this grow out of the blinking dots. And this is where this particular video is going. If you want to look more into it, check out her. Now, people might be thinking, but that was under a microscope, not any human body. What if they faked that? But how could you fake making self-assembling tech that small? Yeah? And then B, this little documentary here, called Blue True, claims to be scientific proof that the vaxxed emit a Bluetooth signal. You should watch it and judge for yourself. And what they do is bring a bunch of people who got the vax out to a really remote place, somewhere in Mexico, I believe, and then they set up some equipment here. It's just a laptop that's looking for MAC IDs. I told you we'd get back to the MAC, the MAC layer. They had all of their people go out into the woods, like hundreds and hundreds of feet away, and then they come back one at a time without any phones. All of their phones are in a completely different location, and as each person approaches out of the woods, this laptop picks up a specific MAC ID number for each of these vaccinated people. So, hopefully I've given you something to think about, and there's plenty of resources if you watch this a second time that you can go check out to learn more about this and come up to your own ideas, because, man, this is a complex topic. I'm not going to say that I know this shit, but it's hard to look at evidence like this and not be pretty fucking suspicious.